Once upon a time, in a quaint hamlet tucked away between emerald fields and a winding stream, there dwelled an elderly woman named Ilara. Her years had etched deep, tender lines across her face like the roots of an ancient oak, and her hair shimmered like threads of moonlight. Yet her eyes, oh, those eyes, gleamed with a warmth that could melt the chill of the harshest winter, brimming with an unyielding compassion that touched everyone she met. The villagers cherished her deeply, for Ilara carried a quiet joy through every trial, her laughter a gentle melody that lingered in the air long after she'd spoken. She resided in a modest cottage at the edge of the great willow tree, its branches draping like a protective veil. Childless and widowed for decades, she bore her solitude with grace, never uttering a word of regret. Instead, she would perch on a weathered bench beneath the willow's shade, sharing stories with passers-by, her smile a beacon that chased shadows from weary souls. In this close-knit community, days unfolded with relentless toil. Farmers tilled the stubborn soil under the relentless sun, woodworkers shaped timber into sturdy homes, and merchants bartered wares at the bustling crossroads stall. But fortune was fickle. Droughts withered the harvests to brittle husks. Fevers struck without mercy, leaving families bedridden and breadless. Hardship wove itself into the fabric of their lives, breeding whispers of despair and furrowed brows etched with unspoken fears. One fateful afternoon, as golden light filtered through the willow's leaves, a young mother named Lyra approached Ilara's cottage, her steps heavy with unspoken burdens. Tears carved glistening paths down her cheeks, and her hands trembled as she clutched the hem of her faded shawl. "Ilara," she whispered, her voice fracturing like dry earth, "I'm lost. My partner journeyed to the distant town seeking labor, but weeks have passed without a single coin or word. Our little ones cry from empty bellies, and terror grips my chest. I fear we'll shatter." Ilara's gaze met Lyra's with a tenderness that stilled the air, and she extended a frail hand, gesturing to the bench beside her. "Come, rest here, dear one," she murmured, her voice a soothing balm. "Breathe with me, and share your heart's shadows." "What visions haunt you most?" Lyra sank down, dabbing at her eyes with a corner of her sleeve, her words tumbling out in a rush. "I see only ruin ahead. The darkness presses in. What if he wanders forever, lost in that cold sprawl? What if he turns away from us, leaving echoes where our home once stood?" Ilara inclined her head, her silver locks catching the light like a halo. "Ah, sweet Lyra," she replied, her tone as soft as falling petals. "Our minds are gardens, and the seeds we sow there bloom into feelings that color our world. When gloom takes root, it chokes the light from our days, weighing us down like stones in a stream. But nurture thoughts of hope, of possibility, and watch how they unfurl, lifting your spirit and often drawing brighter paths your way." Lyra's brow creased, doubt flickering in her reddened eyes. "But how, Ilara? The weight is crushing. Hunger gnaws at the door. Fear whispers through the night. Where does one summon sunlight from such storm clouds?" A spark of gentle mirth danced in Ilara's eyes, and she leaned closer, her wrinkled hand enveloping Lyra's in quiet reassurance. "Patience, my love. Let me weave you a tale from the threads of time, one that has steadied many a faltering heart." Lyra leaned in, her curiosity piercing the veil of sorrow like a tentative dawn. Ilara's voice wove the story with the rhythm of a lullaby. Long ago, by the banks of a murmuring brook where wildflowers bowed to the breeze, there huddled a destitute wanderer, stripped bare by fate. No hearth warmed him, no purse jingled at his side, no kin called his name. He slumped against a mossy stone, sobs racking his frame like thunder in a hollow sky. An elder, weathered by winds and wisdom, happened upon him and paused, her shadow falling soft across his despair. "What sorrow bends you so low, traveler?" she inquired, her words carrying the scent of distant meadows. The man lifted his head, eyes hollow as forgotten wells. "I am a vessel of voids," he choked out. "No sustenance, no shelter, no solace. How can joy find footing in such barren soil?" The elder knelt beside him, her smile a quiet sunrise. "Lift your gaze, friend. Not to the lacks that chain you, but to the gifts that cradle you even now. Behold the brook's endless song, silver and alive. See the trees standing sentinel, their leaves a chorus of green fire. Feel the sun's embrace, painting warmth upon your skin. The world pulses with wonders, vast and near, Dwell on absences, and shadows will swallow you whole. But turn to abundances, however small, and peace will rise like mist from the waters. The wanderer hung on her words, the storm within him easing thread by thread. As her counsel settled, his tears slowed to a trickle, and he truly beheld the ripple of light on the stream, the rustle of branches whispering secrets, the earth's quiet pulse beneath him. In that shift, a fragile spark ignited. From then on, his steps lightened. Opportunities, once invisible, began to gleam like dew-kissed stones. Doors creaked open, not by sorcery, but by the quiet alchemy of a renewed gaze. Ilara's voice faded, leaving the willow's leaves to sigh in the hush. She turned to Lyra, whose breath had steadied, eyes wide with the tale's lingering glow. Do you see, my gentle one? The wanderer's world didn't bend to spells or stars. It transformed because his thoughts did. A mind tilted toward the light invites clarity, kindles courage, and reveals paths hidden in plain sight. Negativity is a fog that blinds, positivity a lantern that guides. Lyra traced the lines of Ilara's palm, her voice a whisper of wonder. Could such a simple turn truly reshape my days? Mend the fractures in my home? Ilara's nod was as certain as the river's flow. Indeed, child. Begin with the dawn. Greet each sunrise with a vow. This day holds grace. I am woven with resilience to nurture my young, to labor with steady hands, to hold space for reunion in faith. Let that bloom within you. But linger in what-ifs of woe, and sorrow will root deep, sapping your vigor like weeds in a garden. A slow nod rippled through Lyra, like sunlight breaking clouds. I see it now. I'll nurture those brighter seeds one breath at a time. Ilara squeezed her hand, her smile a benediction. That's the sacred spark, dear heart, the choice to tend your inner soil. With a heart unburdened, lighter than the breeze that stirred the willow, Lyra departed. Each morning thereafter she rose with purpose, murmuring her affirmation to the first light. This day unfolds with promise. She toiled in the fields, mended clothes by lamplight, cradled her children with stories of tomorrow's joys, and sent silent wishes skyward for her partner's safe return. Days blurred into weeks, each one a quiet victory etched in her growing resolve. Then, one misty morning, a folded missive arrived, sealed with the faint ink of hope. Her partner's script danced across the page, steady work secured in the town's foundry, wages dispatched to bridge the miles. Joy surged through Lyra like a spring thaw, and she flew to Ilara's cottage, words spilling like laughter. It came true, the light you spoke of. Funds flow home, he's carving a way back to us. Ilara's eyes crinkled with delight, her nod profound as ancient roots. Behold, beloved, the bloom of your tended thoughts. Trials will always wander the horizon, unbidden guests, yet meet them with an open, hopeful spirit, and you'll weave triumphs from their threads. Word of Ilara's counsel spread like ripples across the hamlet pond. Farmers with parched fields, artisans with splintered tools, mothers with fevered babes, they all sought her shaded bench, pouring out their tempests. To each, Ilara offered the same luminous truth. Cultivate goodness in your mind, and watch it harvest in your world. Lives shifted under her guidance. Despair softened to determination, fractures mended with newfound fortitude. The villagers' affection for her swelled like a river in rain, for she had unveiled a timeless key, the profound might of a heart attuned to possibility, turning ordinary souls into bearers of quiet miracles.